Hey guys, so I am filming my go-to holiday recipes. So basically every holiday I make a pecan pie cheesecake and I make Brie Bites. So I'm just going to be showing you how I do all of that. So first I went to the grocery store and I got everything I needed. I was just going to show you really quick while I put it away. Heavy whipping cream, some plain cream cheese, 16 ounces, 8 ounces of regular sour cream. I got some maple syrup. I just get the 100% dark color maple syrup. Whole milk. I also got a round of brie. I'm gonna actually pop this into the freezer. You want to freeze it overnight. So let's do that. I got some eggs, my pecans. I got light brown sugar. And for my Brie Bites, I just got crescent rolls. They didn't have the sheets of them, so I had to buy like a bunch of little ones. And then I also got sticks of butter, salted. So I'm gonna put all of this stuff away, and then I will start on the cheesecake, and I will take you through step by step how I do it and all the measurements. And then I'll also list everything down in the description box below. So let's get started. So first I'm going to start off with taking my butter and putting it into a bowl. I'm going to melt this up. I need 1/3 of a cup once it's melted. So I'm actually going to do I think it's 6 tablespoons. So I'm going to do 6 tablespoons of butter. And save the other 2 for later in the recipe, because you're going to need 6 tablespoons total, or 8 tablespoons total, sorry. My thinking. So I'm going to warm this up. Alright, and while that is melting, I am going to take my graham cracker crust. I forgot to say that earlier, but you're going to need some graham cracker crust. I went ahead and just bought the graham cracker crumbs already, but you can just buy graham crackers and crush them up in a baggie. I just know this is just easier for me. Take it out. And I make this so often that I literally just keep most of the ingredients on hand that is not like fresh, like the cream cheese and stuff. So 2 cups of graham cracker crust. Oh, it smells so good. I love the way graham crackers smell. And then I'm going to take my melted butter. I'm just mixing it all up to make sure all the pieces are melted. Okay. And I'm going to pour this into my graham cracker crust. Yummy. I'm going to just mix that up. I noticed that if you don't do enough butter, it makes your graham cracker part really crumbly. So you definitely want to make sure you mix it thoroughly through. And I might melt a little extra butter, to be honest. And see, because I've noticed that my graham cracker crust will get crumbly if it's not enough, or if it's not mixed all the way through. And there's nothing worse than it being so crumbly that all your crust just falls out. So I just melted a little bit more butter. Instead of doing only 6 tablespoons, I'm just gonna go ahead and do 8 full tablespoons, because I just wanna make sure that my graham cracker crust is not too crumbly. So just gonna pour that in and mix it all up in my graham cracker crust. I wish that you could smell through the camera, because this smells so, so good. But anyways, once it's all mixed up, I'm going to take my cake pan. I don't know what size this is. Honestly, I bought a set and I just use all different types of sizes. Ones that I can find, to be honest. I think this is, I don't know, but I just use one of these where you can put the edges off. Is put my graham cracker crust in the this. And then I'm gonna take the measuring cup that we use to measure out the graham cracker crust, and I'm just gonna pat it all in tightly. And so if you use a bigger pan, you're gonna have a little bit thinner layers. If you use a smaller pan, you're gonna have thicker layers. Honestly, I don't really care. I just make it so often I'm just ready to get it made. But basically just pat it in until it is pretty even. All right, so once you have that patted in, I'm just gonna stick it in the refrigerator, and you're just gonna leave it in there basically while you make your cheesecake mix. Okay, so now that the graham cracker crust is chilling, I'm gonna start on the cream cheese, the cheesecake part. So first you're gonna start off with 16 ounces of plain cream cheese. So I'm just going to drop this whole thing in there in a large mixing bowl. Good. Okay, so once you have your cream cheese in the mixing bowl, then I'm going to do 3/4 cups of sugar. So I just have a 1/4 cup because everything is pretty much like fourths or halves. So 1, 2, and this is just plain sugar. 3/4 cup of sugar, and then you can put this sugar away. That's all of the plain sugar you're gonna need. And then 1/4 cup of milk, and I'm just gonna pour this over the large mixing bowl so I don't make a big old mess. In my large mixing bowl, I'm gonna use a mixer, and we're gonna go ahead and start mixing this. And I'm just using about medium speed. All right, and once that is pretty mixed up, then we are going to do 1/2 cup of sour cream. So this is 8 ounces right here, so I'm actually just gonna scoop out half. From there, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of flour. So I just have a small bag of flour. This is my bag that I always use for this recipe because I like just to work with a little bit smaller of a bag. So 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. And that's all the flour you're gonna need. And then we're gonna I'm gonna take this vanilla extract and do 2 teaspoons of it. 1, 2. And you are gonna need this later, so just keep it out to the side. And the last part of this is our 2 eggs. And you're gonna do the whole egg. And from there, we are going to mix all of that. Okay, so now that your cheesecake part is mixed up, you're just gonna get your graham cracker crust out of the refrigerator, and you're going to pour your mixture just right on top. Yummy. And your oven should be preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're gonna bake this for 1 hour. Okay, so now that the cheesecake has been in the oven and there's about 25 minutes left, I'm gonna start making the topping part, just so that has enough time to cool before putting it onto the cheesecake. So basically all you're gonna need is brown sugar, cornstarch, egg yolks, salt, maple syrup, a lot of stuff. So just keep watching and I will walk you through step by step everything that you need and what to do. Okay, Terrible angle, but we're just gonna work with it. So I have like a little mixing bowl. I'm gonna take 1 cup of brown sugar, dump it into my mixing bowl. So then I'm going to take 1/4 cup of cornstarch. I hate working with cornstarch. Yep, 1/4 cup. So just gonna get that out and dump it in. All right, and then we're gonna do 1 teaspoon, make sure, half a teaspoon of salt. So I have 1 teaspoon, I'm just gonna fill it halfway. Dump that in. We're gonna do 2/3 cups, 2/3 of a cup, I don't know how to say that, of maple syrup. So this is just 1/3, I'm gonna fill it up twice. 1 and 2. Okay, so now that we have put all of those ingredients so far into a mixing bowl, I'm actually just gonna dump them into a saucepan, which is hard with one hand. And I have the saucepan on medium heat. 1 second. Okay, so you could typically just put all of those ingredients straight into the saucepan and you don't really need a mixing bowl. But since I was taking a little bit longer, I didn't want it to cook too fast. But this is what it looks like. And I'm just giving it a good old mix, because you want all of your ingredients to be mixed up. And it's gonna be just this like brown color. And then I'm gonna take 4 egg yolks and put those in the mix. And then I'm gonna bring this up to a simmer. And then I'll show you what's next. So I can't really show you me putting in the egg yolk, but basically I take a water bottle and I break open the egg, and then I squeeze it and then lift the egg yolk up. Yeah, there's water everywhere. I'm a messy cook, so that's that. Okay, so I got my egg yolks in there, and then I am just going to break them apart and mix it into the pie filling. This basically is pecan pie filling, but it's gonna go on top of our cheesecake. And just give it a good old mix. And then when we get this up to a simmer, I'm going to add in a 1/2 cup of heavy cream, 4 tablespoons of butter, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then I'm also gonna add in toasted, crushed up pecans. All of the ingredients, minus the pecans, are in here. And I'm just waiting until my butter melts. And pour my pecans in. And just keep on stirring until this gets thick. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Unfortunately, I made Brie Bites. I was going to plan on showing you everything, but I burnt them. So that's how that went. But basically, to make them, you freeze your brie round, you cut it into little tiny squares, and then you take your croissant pastry and you cut those into squares, and then you just line a mini muffin pan with the croissant pastry, and then put the brie square into the middle of that, and then bake it for about 15-17 minutes. And if you want to top it with some jam or butter or whatever, you can do that as well. So that was super easy anyways, but I'm gonna link the recipes in the description box. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Oh yeah, and then after you're done baking your cheesecake, just put it in the fridge and you can eat it the next day. You just want it to set so that the topping part doesn't run over. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, or comment down below your favorite recipes, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.